Hey, this is Chris from Rekkid Talk, and so I'm going to do my best of 2024. So, yeah, my best records of 2024. And eventually, I'm going to tell you what my best record of 2024 is. Uh, Before I get to that, I'm going to share what I'm going to call the VC4. So, 4 records that I bought from VC members that I chose not to include in my ranking. I'm going to show the 10 reissues that pleased me, the only new 10-inch record I bought this year, my top 7-inch of the year, and then finally my top 10 albums. So let's do where did I set these down? So the VC4. This is the First Man on the Moon. So this is their second album called Cybergirl. David Pedroza and his friends over in Sweden doing this. So he sent me that, emailed it to me very early in the year 2024, and it's on pretty red vinyl. And you've got the Cybergirl and the First Boy on the Moon on there. And then we've got straight out of Memphis, Dead in Memphis, Ryan Kidd, the Human B-side. Yeah, it's punk rock. Yeah, you know it. It's punk rock. I got number 7 out of 200. I must be pretty special. And I got one of the limited ones on black vinyl. And then there's Louis Golden's project. He's from somewhere in Texas. Sharon is Karen, Heart of the World. And so there's Louis Golden and the various people that participated. Joey Callio from Dada. You remember they went to Disneyland. And cool translucent orange vinyl. And then on a CD, I haven't opened the CD because I also downloaded it on Bandcamp, so that's how I actually listened to it. But we've got Project Gemini, What's on Your Mind, so sort of the proggish metal of Mark Anthony Kaye from somewhere in Ontario, Canada. Hey, how about some of the 2024 reissues that pleased me? I'm going to show you 10 of them. Most of it's going to be pretty quick, bam, 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 kind of show and tell style. So we've got Eye Against Eye, Bad Brains, the punk note version. So it pretends like it's a jazz record, even though it's not a jazz record. This won't be the last time you'll see something from American Laundromat Records. Blake Baby's Earwig. So this is the 1989 second album by the Blake Babies, featuring Frida Love and John Strohm and Juliana Hatfield. And if you remember my thumbnail or me showing this in the Around the World contest, Congo Funk was a great compilation put out by Analog Africa with, of course, funk music from the nation of the Congo. Coming out on Propeller Sounds Records, the same label that does John P. Strom's my best of from 2023. You got the Flat Duo Jets, White Trees from 1994, first time ever on vinyl, and the Swamp Thing final, nice and pretty. The late Dexter Romweber, who did pass away this year with his Psychobilly. And speaking of first time on vinyl, we got a couple early in the year. We got Juliana Hatfield Bed from 1998. And then towards the end of the year, we got Juliana Hatfield's 2008 album, How to Walk Away. And again, both of these are first times on vinyl. Another first time on vinyl is Local H, Whatever Happened to PJ Souls from 2004. Reissued on Brutal Panda G&P Records, but it had only been a very hard to find CD beforehand. And it features, of course, a song for the Midwest California songs. And Alternative Tentacles made us wait a long time for this, but we finally did get. Let me take out my No Means No wrong, because that would be a very expensive album to get on an OG. So I got the repress. Another one that was very expensive to buy would be Ween's Chocolate and Cheese on a triple album. And so we always like the Ween. And finally, for you 7-inch fetishists, so this was a fancy box set put out by one of the Vault, Third Man Record Vaults. So this was a reissue of the Elvis Presley singles on the Sun record label. That's All Right, Mama. So you can put this on your jean jacket or your flannel shirt. So 45 adapter with the Sun label on it. And then let me just show you. Here they are. And of course, you can instantly tell they're reissues, of course, for many reasons. One is because they're on colored vinyl and they look brand new. And if you look closely enough, there's a Third Man logo on there. So you'll never mistake that for an OG. All right, so obviously most of the 7 inches I bought were used, going out thrifting, but I do sometimes buy new 7 inches, and my top 7-inch for the year 2024 is by the experimental electronic group Vanishing Twin. This was a Sub Pop singles club, and so the lead song is called Life Drummer. It was from January 2024. Let's see if it's on pretty black vinyl. And Kathy Lucas is the main person behind this. Band name Vanishing Twin comes from the fact that apparently she absorbed the identical twin in the womb. And then the only new 10-inch record I bought this year was the Real Rejects, Not Allowed, on good old Alien Snatch Records out of Berlin. But of course, their Real Rejects are Canadian, so they're sort of budget garage rock punk power poppy sorts of guys. They're from Moncton, New Brunswick. I think they've been in various other bands, and it's a 9-song EP on the 10-inch format, and so probably not long enough to be considered a full album, but too long to cram onto a 7-inch. So you got the Real Rejects. And then, since I brought up the Vanishing Twin for like sort of experimental electronic music I liked, we'll talk about sort of my disappointment for the year, which would be Kim Gordon's The Collective, which I know is probably going to be on a lot of people's best of lists. A lot of critics have liked it, but I don't have a physical copy of it. I tried to like it. I wanted to like it. Streamed it a few times, and it just doesn't grab me. Sorry. And then we'll talk about my top 10 albums for 2024 with the usual proviso that it's basically based on stuff that I listened to, and most of the music that came out in the year 2024 I did not listen to. So if I didn't name your favorite record, it may be because I don't like it, but it's more likely because I didn't listen to it. All right, so my number 10 record of 2024. I was torn between my 10 and 11. One of the groups I was thinking about, one of the artists I was thinking about, was somebody I've been listening to for almost 40 years. They're in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. They haven't released an album in over a decade, but they, to much fanfare, released a new album this year. And the other person is somebody that I don't think any of you have heard of before. So I went with the unknown person as my number 10. That famous record, you can probably guess it, is my number 11. But my number 10 record is by Annie Williams. So she's a Nashville-based singer-songwriter on the minor YK Records label. And YK kind of sent me an email about some of their stuff on Bandcamp, and one day I just felt like listening to some stuff, and I checked out her song and I was into it. It's sort of Casio folk, so there's like some like programmed drums and keyboards, but the rest of it's pretty folky and singer-songwritery, but in a very good way. There's a song called Highway 287, which I think has something to do with Laramie, Wyoming, where I used to be. And she's jumping a dirt bike through a flaming circle. So that's Annie Williams coming in at my number 10. Also on the fairly unknown female country singer, she looks very country because she's wearing her cowboy hat. That's Kelsey Baldwin. Kelsey Baldwin's from Monkey's Eyebrow, Kentucky. If you're wondering where Monkey's Eyebrow, Kentucky is, it's somewhere sort of north and west of Paducah. It's right on the Ohio River. Her family has like a duck hunting lounge there. But she's on like John Prine's label. And so this was actually a covers record. There's always a song. And so it's an EP of country covers with, there's some fairly famous people that she duets with, like Amanda Shires and Margot Price. And then Hometown's old S.G. Goodman. Her and Kelsey do Hello Stranger, Carter Family song. And this is not the last time you're going to hear about S.G. Goodman duetting with somebody on my list. So, my number eight's comfort food. We went to a diner and we ordered some pie. Surfer Jets. So yeah, it's sort of cheesy neo surf music. And I know the gimmick is that they're good looking, but Nicole and Shermie are pretty good at playing that surf guitar as well. And then they've got the whole mid-century early 60s girl thing going with the go-go boots and the beehive hairdos and their fashion sense. And so I dig the Surfer Jets. And at number 8. Number 7, we're getting to the Guitar Hero portion of mine. I'm not going to take my gatefold out. So St. Vincent, who a couple years ago with Daddy's Home, that was sort of like my, sort of similar to the Kim Gordon record from this year, a record I wanted to like, but I didn't. But anyway, this record, All Born Screaming, was a really good comeback from St. Vincent's and something I liked much more than her previous record. And that was enough to be my number 7. And my number 6, more guitar heroism. We finally have a guy on my list. It's Mdou Mokhtar, the band from Niger, featuring, of course, the wonderful guitarist Mamadou Souleymane, known as Mdou Mokhtar, and his band. Mikey Colton's an American. The other guys are from the Tuareg peoples of Niger and Mali and the like. And so Funeral for Justice, their album from 2024. And my number 5 is the debut album by Johnny Blue Sky. So this is some wonderful alternative country. Alternative country means good country, by the way. It's on black vinyl. You're wondering who the hell is Johnny Blue Skies? Well, it turns out that Johnny Blue Skies is actually Sturgill Simpson. Because, Sturgill Simpson did the whole thing. Oh, I'm only putting out 5 records, da-da-da-da-da. Oh, my Cutting Grass records don't count. And then if I release it under the name Johnny Blue Skies, it also doesn't count as a Sturgill Simpson record. Even though it sounds pretty much like a Sturgill Simpson record. I mean, if you like meta-modern sounds in country music and Sailor's Guide, you'll like Passage to Desire. Number 4. We might have to censor the cover. Oh, wait, they already censored the cover for us. So it's Amy L. Taylor, Amyl and the Sniffers, straight out of Australia. Because AC/DC's running out of steam, and we got to have a high-energy, fun rock and roll band from Australia to get us through the rest of our life. And I guess it's going to be Amyl and the Sniffers with their 3rd album, Cartoon Darkness. I think I like it not quite as much as the 2nd album, but it's still pretty good, and it's still good enough to be my number 4. Number 3, so I got to be a little bit snooty, and I have to. It's Impulse. It's on the Impulse label. It's the Aesthetics and James Brandon Lewis, and they're playing jazz. And the best part of it is they're playing jazz with Fugazi's rhythm section. Yeah. So Joe Lally and Brendan Canty are the bass player and drummer. And then they've been into this Aesthetics band with Anthony Parag on guitar, and then James Brandon Lewis on saxophone sits in there as well. So I like it. So there's my modern jazz for the year. We're almost to number one. So the first loser, number 2, Dangerine's Chic. And this is another record from the Alien Snatch label, like that 10-inch I showed you a little bit before. These guys are also from Canada. These guys are from Montreal, so of course, because they're from Montreal, they sound like a sleazy southern rock band with punk tendencies. But they're from Montreal. But you would never guess they were from Montreal if I played them for you. You would think that they were like some crazy southern boys. They even kind of look like it. The Dangerine Chic. It's my number 2 record. So, my number 1 record for the year. It came out on Tennessee limestone colored vinyl, which looks really cool, though that wasn't really the reason why I made it number 1. It is the new album by Amethyst Kia, Still and Bright. And so this is just a massively good record. This is like Tracy Chapman's debut good record. I mean, if Amethyst Kia had been smart enough to have been 30 years older than she is and was putting out albums when Tracy Chapman was putting out albums, I think she would have been big like that. But alas, she isn't. So Amethyst Kia studied Appalachian music at East Tennessee State, lives in Johnson City, Tennessee. That's over in eastern Tennessee. And I told you that there was going to be more S.G. Goodman, so the very first song, Play God and Destroy the World, just a massively great song, is a duet between Amethyst and S.G. So, you know, it's like if you're sort of a child and you're sort of an outcast, you want to play God and destroy the world. I will not go down, die slowly without complaint. God's under the mountain. So this is a pretty heavy album thematically, but this is just great stuff. It's folky, but it's not all folky. It's got some bite in the right place. It's got memorable lyrics. It's Chris from Rekkid Talk's Record of the Year.